What's up, guys? I'm here in my home garage working on this really cool car. A customer called me up, needed some engine work done on his 68 Cutlass. What's really unique about this car is that it has an engine that actually has a lot of sentimental value to me. It's got a 455 that I ran in my 86 Cutlass, my race car now, for years. Daily drove it and took it to the track. Ended up going 1091 at 121 with it, with a little 50 shot. And daily drove it everywhere. Went on dates with my wife. That's the engine combination that was in my car when I met her. And went on a lot of dates, a lot of cruises, set off car alarms in Brooklyn, through the Brooklyn streets. And as I progressed with my car and it started becoming, more of a race car, I decided to pull that engine combination out and build a nitrous 414-inch LS combination for it, which ran really good. But when I pulled this 455 out, I sold it to a gentleman named Mike Calvo in Rhode Island area, I believe. He found a home for it in this car here that I'm working on. I sold it to a gentleman named Brian, who lives in, I believe it's Fort Mill, South Carolina, who's less than an hour away from me now here where we live in North Carolina. So I sold this engine back when I lived in New York. And so the fact that it's close by now is actually really, really cool. Brian reached out to me on Facebook, knowing that I'm an olds guy, and to see if I can recommend anybody that's locally that can do the engine work that it needs. So Brian's since put another 10,000 miles on this engine and has cruised all over North and South Carolina with it, really enjoying it. But recently had a head gasket problem. So I needed to have the head gaskets replaced. So when he reached out to me, I said, I have a little bit of room in my garage. Let me make some space and I'll try to knock it out for you. So here we are. I currently have the engine apart. It's the top end anyway. The cylinder heads are off. The intake manifold is off. Here, we got a sneak peek. This is what was on it. It had an old Edelbrock Torker intake on it. But Brian ended up picking up a new one, and I cleaned it all up for him and got all of his components swapped onto it. And I'm doing my best to clean everything up and do a little bit of paint work here and there to kind of dress this thing up a little bit, bring it back to where it should be. It's a really strong running motor. Like I said, went 1150s in my 86 Cutlass at full weight. It was like a 3,700 pound car at the time. Had a lot of fun with it. So it's a strong running motor that's been together for a while. It's due for a little bit of engine work. It doesn't owe anybody anything at this point, needless to say. So I'm really excited to get this thing wrapped up. The cylinder heads are off right now. My friend Tony Carenthi's machine shop, getting some work done to them. They're going to deck them, do a valve job, and put new valve seals and stuff like that. Just freshen them up, clean them up a bit because they were a little grimy. That's where they're at right now. And once I get those back, I can start rocking and rolling to get this thing back together. I have everything else that I need. Ordered some SCE gaskets for this thing. Got some other odds and ends to do as well. We're putting a different water pump on it and see how it goes from there. He mentioned that it's going to be for sale at the end of this, so if anybody's interested, here, I'll do a little bit of walk around. The hood's off and I got some fender covers on it right now, but it's a Survivor car. It's a Survivor 68 with original paint. Parked right next to my 79. Let's see, hopefully after the work's done, Brian changes his mind because it's a nice car, but we'll see what happens. Let's get this thing back on the road, huh? So the heads and intake are still off, still waiting for the machine shop to wrap those up, but in the meantime, I got the new water pump mounted. It's going to require some shorter belts because this pulley is a little bit smaller, so once I get the heads back on and I can get the alternator back on, we'll take a measurement for the new belts and stop at an auto parts store and pick them up. But I guess one of the only things left I really got to do is do an oil change on this thing, and might as well knock that out at the same time. There's no intake or heads on it, obviously, so I'll just fill it from the valley. But yeah, let's keep moving and working along. Keep plugging away. go-to oil, guys. I had an incident at World Cup a few years back where I fired the car up in the middle of the night. I had a mechanical oil pressure gauge and I just didn't see it. It was just not enough light. And fired the car up, had 0 oil pressure. Did the burnout, back up, make a full quarter-mile pass, went like low 7s, like 17s, and pulled the parachute. The oil rushed forward, and then that's when the oil pump picked it up again, and that's when it built oil pressure. But we got back to the pits, noticed that it made a whole pass with 0 oil pressure. We thought our weekend was done. Pulled the oil pan down, pulled some of the caps off, took some emery cloth to the journals, put new bearings in it, and went 5 more rounds the following day, made it all the way to the finals in Street Fighter that year. So I'm sticking with Redline Racing Oil from here on out. All right, so we're back in business. I have the cylinder heads back from Tony's. From there, I brought them over to my buddy Keith Newcomer Racing, and he did a valve job for me on them. So I'm back here at American Racing Headers. It's probably close to 7 p.m. right now. Nobody's here. Shop's closed for the day. But there's one thing that I have to get done prior to this going back together, and that's close these gaps up. These guys right here. This is an exhaust crossover on a lot of the factory intakes, plus this Torker intake that we're putting on has an exhaust crossover that goes through the intake manifold to cool, or to heat, I should say, the intake charge in cold climates to help the motor warm up and stuff like that. But we're in South Carolina and North Carolina, so the customer's in South Carolina, so he's not going to need that. This is more of a weekend warrior type deal, and I don't think the car goes out in cold weather. So we're going to plug that up. I made a little aluminum spacer here. I drew up the size of that little port. We're going to grind this to shape and plug it up and go from there. Something like this is what we're looking for, guys. Just wanted to plug that hole up, because the intake manifold gasket doesn't have this provision. It's for basically for aftermarket heads or for guys. Most of the time, when guys are putting an aftermarket intake or something on like that, this plug gets or this hole gets plugged up. So if you don't plug it with a gasket that doesn't have this hole there, the exhaust gases will just burn through the gasket. It's no good. So we're back in business. Cylinder heads going back on. I had an opportunity to paint them real quick. I decided to go with an aluminum color. We cleaned up and repainted the valve covers, the same exterior and engine block color. And on top of this stuff, I ended up using this as well, Sharkhide metal protectant. It's made to go over bare metal surfaces, but it works really well over painted stuff and what it does is preserves the paint and the bare metal from corroding or oxidizing and stuff like that. It works really well on basically all types of metals. So we had a little setback with these head bolts. They've been on the car for a while and they've been working, but it doesn't mean that they're right. I got the cylinder heads back and went to go torque them on last night and ran into an issue where a couple of the threads, or one on each side, one hole on each side, had stripped in the block. And after pulling the heads back off, I passed this bolt through, and there's only about a ½ inch of thread that's actually engaging in the block. So we ended up hurting some of the threads at the very top on the block. But if you look, you take a bolt on the other side, there's about 9/16 of thread on this bolt that's not being used. So our next course of action was to order a set of head studs, you know, where the course side will screw all the way into the block. We won't have to worry about thread engagement. So that's the workaround for now. Keep plugging away. So I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I'm pretty sure the studs are going to do the trick here. They're catching with a full inch of thread now, as opposed to only a half an inch that those bolts were catching. So I can't imagine we're going to have a problem. Knock on wood, but hopefully this thing goes back together nice and smooth, and we can fire this thing up tonight. All right, we're almost back in business. Cylinder heads are on, torqued. That's all good. The studs took care of the problem. We got the rocker arms back on. I'm about to check lash right now. And then we can throw the valve covers on, get the intake back on, and fire this freaking thing up, man, once and for all. We're in the home stretch. 10:30 at night here, and I think I have this thing about wrapped up. I'm gonna throw a booster pack on it and try firing it up. Hopefully I don't piss my neighbors off too bad.